You know what's wild? While most people are planting tomatoes and lettuce, there's a quiet revolution happening in backyards and small farms across the country. Ordinary folks are pulling in serious cash from crops you've probably never even considered. I'm talking about plants that can earn you more per square foot than almost anything else. And number 7 on this list is growing in abandoned lots right now, completely overlooked. Stick around because what I'm about to share could completely change how you think about your garden space. Hey there, garden friends. Welcome back to Earthly Gardening, where we dig into the real strategies that put money in your pocket without emptying your wallet. If you're new here, you're in the right place. We're all about practical, affordable ways to make your garden work harder for you. And to my returning viewers, thanks for coming back. You keep this community thriving. Now, before we jump in, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss our weekly tips. Seriously, the stuff we're covering today is the kind of information that most gardening channels won't tell you because it's too unconventional. But that's exactly why it works. Alright, let's get into these surprising crops that are quietly making ordinary people some extraordinary income. Crop 1, microgreens. Let's start with something that sounds fancy but is ridiculously simple. Microgreens. Now, I know what you're thinking. Those tiny greens at expensive restaurants? Yes, exactly those. Here's the thing though. They take 7 to 14 days from seed to harvest. That means you can have multiple crops per month from the same space. A standard 10 by 20 tray can produce about a pound of microgreens, and restaurants pay anywhere from $25 to $50 per pound. Some growers are even getting more for specialty varieties. You don't need a farm. You need some shallow trays, potting mix, seeds, and a sunny windowsill or cheap grow lights. The best part? The startup cost is minimal. We're talking maybe $100 to $200 to get going. And because the turnaround is so fast, you're making money within 2 weeks of starting. Compare that to waiting months for traditional crops to mature. The demand from restaurants, juice bars, and health-conscious consumers is absolutely exploding right now. Crop 2, gourmet mushrooms. Number 2 is going to surprise you. Gourmet mushrooms. Not the basic white buttons you see everywhere. I'm talking about oyster mushrooms, shiitake, lion's mane, the varieties that chefs actually get excited about. Here's why this works. Mushrooms don't need soil or sunlight. You can grow them in a basement, garage, or shed. They grow on agricultural waste like straw, sawdust, or coffee grounds. Materials people often throw away. A small 10 by 10 space can produce hundreds of pounds per year. The profit margin is incredible. Oyster mushrooms sell for $8 to $12 per pound at farmers markets. Your input costs? Extremely low once you've got your setup dialed in. Plus, mushrooms are one of those crops that people perceive as difficult to grow, which means less competition and higher prices. You can start with ready-made mushroom kits to learn the process, then scale up to making your own spawn and substrate. The learning curve exists, but it's not as steep as people think. And the market keeps growing because more people are discovering how amazing fresh gourmet mushrooms taste compared to store-bought. Crop 3, saffron. Alright, crop number 3 is going to sound absolutely crazy until you hear the numbers. Saffron. Yes, the world's most expensive spice. Now stay with me here because this isn't as impossible as it sounds. Saffron comes from the crocus flower, specifically the tiny red threads inside each bloom. It takes about 70,000 flowers to produce 1 pound of dried saffron, which is why it sells for $500 to $5,000 per pound. But here's the key. You don't need to produce a pound. Even a few ounces can bring in serious money. The crocus bulbs are perennial, meaning you plant them once and they come back year after year, multiplying naturally. A small plot of about 1,000 square feet can hold around 15 to 20,000 bulbs. Those bulbs cost about 15 cents each initially, but they multiply so your investment decreases over time. The harvest happens in fall, and yes, hand harvesting the threads is labor-intensive. But think about it. You're essentially harvesting money. Even part-time growers are making several $1,000s from relatively small spaces. The best part? Saffron requires minimal water and almost no fertilizer once established. It's drought-tolerant and actually prefers lean soil. Crop 4, bamboo. Number 4 is bamboo. And no, I'm not talking about the invasive kind that takes over your yard. I'm talking about carefully selected clumping varieties that stay put and have massive market demand. Bamboo is used for everything. Privacy screens, building materials, crafts, even food with edible varieties. Landscapers pay premium prices for established bamboo plants because they provide instant impact for clients. A single division of an ornamental bamboo can sell for $30 to $200 depending on size and variety. Here's the beautiful part. Bamboo is nearly indestructible. It grows fast, requires minimal care, and multiplies naturally. You can divide mature clumps every few years, creating more plants to sell. Start with a few mother plants, let them establish for 2 to 3 years, then start harvesting divisions. The market is huge. Homeowners want privacy, businesses want green screens, and garden centers constantly need inventory. You can sell directly to landscapers at farmers markets or even online. Some growers are also selling bamboo shoots as a gourmet vegetable, adding another income stream from the same plants. Quick pause here. If you're finding value in this information, smash that like button. It really helps the channel reach more people who need these tips. And drop a comment below telling me which crop surprises you the most so far. I read every single comment and love hearing from you. Now, let's keep going because the next few are even more interesting. Crop 5. Lavender. Crop number 5 is lavender, and this plant is a money-making machine if you approach it right. Everyone thinks of lavender as just a pretty flower, but it's so much more. You've got fresh bundles, dried flowers, essential oil, sachets, culinary lavender, and even value-added products like soaps and lotions. A mature lavender plant produces about 1 to 2 pounds of flowers per year. Fresh lavender bundles sell for $8 to $15 each at markets. Dried lavender goes for $20 to $30 per pound. And if you get into distilling your own essential oil, the profits multiply significantly. Lavender is a perennial that gets bigger and more productive each year. It thrives in poor soil, needs minimal water once established, and has almost no pest problems. Plant it once and you're harvesting for 10 to 15 years. The initial investment is just the plants, maybe $2 to $5 per start, and some basic infrastructure. The demand spans multiple markets. Florists, crafters, aromatherapy businesses, bakeries using culinary lavender, wedding planners. You're not dependent on one buyer or one use. That diversity protects your income. Plus, lavender farms have become agritourism destinations, adding another potential revenue stream. Crop 6. Ginseng. Number 6 is going to test your patience, but the payoff is massive. Ginseng, specifically American ginseng, which is highly valued in international markets, particularly Asia. Here's the deal. Ginseng takes 5 to 7 years to reach full maturity and maximum value. That's the patience part. But mature roots sell for $300 to $800 per pound, sometimes more for wild simulated roots. Even young roots have value, so you can start harvesting smaller amounts earlier. Ginseng grows best in wooded areas under tree canopy, making it perfect for land that's not suitable for traditional crops. You're utilizing vertical space in your ecosystem. The plants are native to North America, so they're adapted to local conditions. No fancy greenhouses or irrigation systems needed. The startup cost is mostly seeds or rootlets and some basic shade cloth if you don't have woods. Seeds are about $1 each, but each mature plant produces seeds, so you can expand without additional investment. Some growers are treating this as a retirement fund, planting now for harvest in 7 years when the value is highest. Crop 7. Garlic. Lucky number 7. And this one's probably growing within 5 miles of where you're sitting right now, completely ignored. Specialty garlic. Not the grocery store stuff. I'm talking about hardneck varieties with names like Purple Stripe, Rocambole, and Porcelain. The gourmet varieties that chefs and foodies actively seek out. Specialty garlic sells for $10 to $20 per pound at farmers markets, sometimes up to $8 per bulb for rare varieties. Compare that to maybe $2 per pound at the grocery store for commercial garlic. The difference is staggering. Garlic is also one of the easiest crops you'll ever grow. Plant cloves in fall, basically forget about them all winter, and harvest in early summer. It requires minimal water, almost no pest management, and actually improves your soil. 1 pound of seed garlic, costing maybe $15 to $30, plants about 40 to 50 cloves and produces 8 to 10 pounds of harvest. The math is beautiful. That initial $30 investment turns into $150 to $200 gross revenue. Minus your minimal inputs, you're looking at serious profit margins. And because you save the biggest, best bulbs for replanting, your seed cost drops to zero after the first year. The market is passionate too. Once people taste real, fresh specialty garlic, they never go back to store-bought. You build a customer base that returns year after year. Some growers even run waiting lists because demand exceeds supply. Crop 8 hops. Crop number 8 rides the craft beer wave. Hops. Those cone-shaped flowers that give beer its distinctive flavor and aroma. With thousands of craft breweries across the country, demand for locally grown hops is booming. Hops are perennial vines that can produce for 20 years from a single planting. First-year plants produce lightly, but by year 3, a mature hop plant can yield 1 to 2 pounds of dried flowers. Growers receive anywhere from $10 to $20 per pound for standard varieties, up to $50 per pound for rare or experimental varieties that brewers want to try. The infrastructure requires some investment. Hops need vertical support, usually a trellis system about 18 feet tall. But once that's built, it lasts for decades. The plants themselves are hardy, pest-resistant, and require moderate water. They grow vigorously, so you're not babying them. The real opportunity is forming direct relationships with local breweries. Many brewers love supporting local agriculture and will pay premium prices for fresh, locally grown hops. They want to create beers with a local identity. You're not just selling a crop. You're selling a story and a connection. Crop 9. Gourmet vegetables. Number 9 covers a category more than a single crop. Gourmet vegetables. These are the unusual varieties that home gardeners rarely grow but restaurants pay top dollar for. Things like baby bok choy, purple cauliflower, golden beets, rainbow carrots, unusual squash varieties, specialty salad greens. The key is variety and presentation. Chefs want ingredients that make their dishes stand out. They want colors, shapes, and flavors you can't get from commercial suppliers. A restaurant might pay $4 to $6 per pound for standard produce, but $8 to $12 per pound for something unique and beautiful. Your advantage as a small grower is flexibility. You can plant small amounts of many varieties, testing what sells best in your local market. You can harvest at the exact size and maturity chefs want. You can deliver same-day fresh, which no wholesaler can match. Start by talking to local chefs. Find out what they wish they could get but can't. Then grow exactly that. This isn't about volume. It's about value and relationships. Some growers supply just 3 to 5 restaurants but make a full-time living because those relationships are built on quality and reliability. The startup cost is just seeds and basic growing supplies. You don't need specialized equipment. Just attention to detail, quality, and consistency. Build your reputation one perfect harvest at a time. Crop 10. Flowers for cutting. And finally, crop number 10. Cut flowers. Now, I know flowers might seem obvious, but hear me out. The grocery store flower market is dominated by imports that are days or weeks old. There's a massive movement toward local, seasonal, fresh-cut flowers that actually last in the vase. Growers are getting $5 to $10 per bunch at farmers markets, $25 to $50 per bucket wholesale to florists. Wedding work pays even more. A single wedding can be worth $500 to $2,000 in flower sales. And we're talking about plants that grow from seed in 8 to 12 weeks. The variety is endless. Zinnias, sunflowers, cosmos, dahlias, lisianthus, snapdragons. Some are direct seed easy, others require a bit more skill, but none require specialized equipment. You need good soil, consistent water, and timing. That's it. The beauty of cut flowers is that you can start tiny. A 50-foot bed can produce several $100s worth of stems per season. Test the market with small plantings, build relationships with customers, then scale up based on actual demand. Many successful flower farmers started in a corner of their backyard. Plus, there's a creative satisfaction here that you don't get with vegetables. You're creating beauty while making money. Your workspace is gorgeous, and customers genuinely appreciate what you do. The emotional connection makes for loyal, repeat buyers. So there you have it. 10 crops that most people overlook, but smart growers are using to build serious income. The common thread here. Every single one has strong demand, relatively low startup costs, and higher profit margins than traditional crops. Now, here's what I want you to understand. You don't need to grow all 10. Pick one or two that match your space, climate, and interests. Start small, learn the market, then scale up. The biggest mistake people make is trying to do everything at once instead of mastering one crop first. Think about your situation. Do you have shade? Maybe ginseng or mushrooms. Full sun and space? Consider lavender or hops. Limited space but daily attention? Microgreens could be perfect. Match the crop to your resources, and you'll set yourself up for success. The information I've shared today is just the beginning. Each of these crops has entire communities, resources, and markets you can tap into. Do your research, talk to other growers, and most importantly, start. Even if it's just a test plot this season, you'll learn more by doing than by planning forever. Before you go, I want to hear from you. Which of these crops are you most interested in trying? Or maybe you're already growing one of these and have experience to share. Drop your thoughts in the comments. This community learns from each other, and your insights help everyone. If this video added value to your day, take 2 seconds to hit that like button. It genuinely helps us reach more people who need affordable gardening strategies. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. We release new videos every week covering practical, money-saving, and money-making garden tips that actually work. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you spending this time with me. Now get out there, pick your crop, and start growing. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep your hands dirty and your gardens thriving.